Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hey everybody,
Hey everyone,
I'm David Bell,
I'm Tom Ryman.
and we just watched Tomb Raider.
We sure did.
Tomb Raider.
I think I know where my dad went.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
It'll be an adventure.
Death is not an adventure. What are you doing here, Laura? 7 years I've been on this island. Your father, he put me here. Now I see the likeness, the intelligence, the recklessness.
What do you know about my father?
Tomb Raider.
It's really just a nicer way of saying grave robber.
Yeah.
Which is what all of these movies are about.
Yes, this is
Just
true.
robbing graves.
Reluctantly at first.
Right, and then really catching the spirit of it. Really, oh, this is what all of those grave robbers over the years have been experiencing, and since the title Grave Robber
Yeah.
didn't test well.
Well, you get that grave robber high.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's when you inhale bone
when
fragments.
you rob your first grave,
Right.
there's no going back after
Antiquated bone dust gets you super high.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
So, how did you like the movie?
I liked it.
I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, it was like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, it was,
It was like Raiders and Last Crusade kind of rolled together.
it reminded me of movies in the 90s that I loved that were silly and dumb and kind of fun. And yeah, there was a lot of Indiana Jones in there.
Yeah, there was a lot of like really good adventure set pieces in it.
Yeah. It also managed to be like the video game.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
There's a lot of moments like when she's on the boat that's sinking and she has to like climb across.
hand over hand. Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I remember doing
Oh,
that.
shit, yeah. Parachuting into through the forest. I'm like, oh, I remember this. This
Yeah,
part was
I remember
hard.
that level.
This part was hard. I got impaled on a tree many times in this sequence.
I liked that when people got hurt, they really got hurt. Like,
Yeah,
they
they
just had to sit on the ground for a second and like they had to
And like,
take a knee and like breathe
Yeah.
and recover.
and when people got shot, there was like blood. I know that's a weird compliment to give a movie, but it's like a lot of PG-13 movies
Yeah.
have sort of gone hog wild with it, and I kind of miss.
They miss the blood. It was just nice seeing a hero who kind of got the crap kicked out of him. Like
Oh, yeah.
her. That reminded me more. That's part of what reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Like who I feel bad not knowing the actress's name who played Laura Croft.
oh, Alicia Vikander.
What else has she been in?
Ex Machina, dude.
Holy shit, that's
She's the
that's
fucking
the
robot.
That's
Yeah,
the robot.
She's the robot.
Oh,
from
she's
Ex Machina.
great.
Yeah. She's
She-
also in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
She really sold those injuries,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I liked that plus the sound and like the way it was
Yeah,
cut.
it's just it's
like
it's
when she got her, I felt it, which was really nice.
and when everybody got hurt,
Yes.
you felt. I feel like that's a thing that we've gotten away from in PG-13 action adventure movies, where it's like there's no blood when people get shot. It's like there's no impact for any of the action or anything. So it's like
it's all superheroes.
Yeah, so seeing the consequence of things sets it apart in that way, I guess. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it mirrors almost identically certain things from Indiana Jones, but not in a way that made me like upset with it.
Well, the stuff that mirrored it was like the basic story stuff, where I was like, yeah, that's fine. Let's just get that out of the way,
Right.
And then the original stuff was like the action and the booby traps and like the characters for
Yeah.
the most part. But this also, I'm realizing it's also like if you go and look at Uncharted or look at the Tomb Raider video games, they all kind of mimic Indiana Jones. Like every adventure,
Yeah.
it's hard not to. Like National Treasure, he goes on the adventure with his dad in that as well. In the
Yeah.
sequel.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to mimic Indiana Jones. And then, of course, Indiana Jones itself is mimicking adventure serials.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's like, it's just,
It's one big cycle.
Yeah, and it's movies we don't get enough of. Like, I like adventure movies.
Me too.
We've got, Jumanji, the latest
still have to see
Jumanji,
it.
is a pretty solid one.
Does that have puzzles and like when I was going through this when I was going through this movie watching it, I was like had a little list in my head of like, okay, we need like stunts, we need like nature set pieces, we need like gross bugs, we need puzzles, we need booby traps, and they were like checking off every item on the list as it was going, so that made me really happy.
When she's going down the river and sees that plane, I was like, she better end up inside that airplane.
Oh yeah,
and she ends up inside the airplane.
I really liked that sequence because it reminded me. I guess it reminded me of Spielberg, not the way it was shot, but the idea of it, and the way the action kept escalating.
Yeah.
Because that's the secret to a good adventure movie is they're like, oh, they're hanging off the wing, and then they crawl in, and now the plane's falling, and like,
yeah, you take it, and the foot chases did that too, like the bicycle chase in the beginning.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it was very irresponsible.
Yeah, but it was because it was cool because it kept escalating.
Yeah,
and then the foot chase when she's chasing the guys that take her bag, and then she catches them. And then it like turns around to where she's running away from because they pull out a switchblade. Because of course that guy has a knife. He's a thief on a Chinese junk dock.
And then she jumps on that boat.
Yeah, she jumps on that boat. Oh, that captain.
Drunk captain with a
drunk
shotgun.
Ass captain. That's one of the only negative things I can say about the movie is they introduced this great fucking character, this drunk ass captain that she gets to take her to the island, and then he just kind of goes away for most of the movie.
Yeah, he doesn't have much to do. I do like that they knew it was important to give these side characters something really fun to do.
Yeah.
And in terms of character.
Yeah.
Like I like it when the henchmen kind of stand out a little bit. Not so much in this movie.
A little bit.
I like it when a good action movie is like, let's give everybody a little something to do.
They make sure that you know that because there's only like 5 henchmen, and they take time when after they get shipwrecked on the island, Laura and Lu Ren, and they get like conscripted to help the bad guys like dig up this tomb,
which is another Indiana Jones
thing. Yeah,
national treasure. It's in all the treasure hunting movies. Again, it's just you hit these beats,
right? And Walton Goggins as the bad guy is straight up Belloc.
Yeah,
but like, but you're right. He has something fun to do where he's kind of like he's the villain, but he's been on this island for 7 years, so he's kind of forgotten how to be a villain.
Right.
He just sort of does things and then like remembers later that, oh right, I should have like laughed evilly or something. But he's just like so tired and bummed out about being on this island.
Not want to be there.
He just doesn't want to be there anymore. So it's like he like can't even he'll do something evil and then he'll remember like 2 or 3 seconds later that it was an evil thing to do.
Right.
Yeah. Like, look, man, let's just get out of here. It was this interesting detached sociopath way to play it, but
yeah, I liked how he told her that her father, how he killed her father.
He's like, oh, he's with God now. I killed him years ago.
Yeah,
as he's reading something, and then it catches up to him,
which was a great, it was a good villain moment.
Yeah,
he was a solid villain.
Yeah, he's a good villain.
Yeah,
but yeah, when they get to the camp, they make sure that there's only like 5 henchmen, and they're all distinct in a way. They all look distinct, which is an Indiana Jones thing. Mm-hmm. Like you remember the grunts because there's like, Pat Roach, the big guy, in all the Indiana Jones movies, you recognize him. And then they have the giant Russian in Crystal Skull that Indiana Jones has to fight with. Like they gave each henchman a thing so that when you saw them, you're like, oh, okay, I remember this henchman. So that was cool. It was like a nice throwback to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and what makes me sad is I know they probably won't make more of these.
I don't know. It depends on how.
I would love to see like 6 of these.
Yeah.
Because again, treasure
hunting
movies. I guess it's kind of my like. I think if people don't understand my excitement, think of it like superhero movies, where a lot of people can just watch 10 superhero movies and they never get sick of it, even the formula. Like, I don't get sick of the formula. I don't get sick of the fact that I know what's going to happen, probably. Where it's like, okay, well, they're going to get captured, and then they're going to help the bad guy, and then they're going to die by the hands of the thing that they discovered.
Yeah.
Like, every goddamn movie or adventure movie, and I don't care. I love it. I fucking love watching it play out every time. And so I can understand, like, this has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I could understand why people might sit down to this movie and just get bored and be like, I've seen this. You know?
The fact that it's, I guess I feel like I didn't get mad at it for being familiar, I guess because this is a type of movie we don't see that often.
Yeah.
You don't see adventure movies or treasure hunting movies that often.
No, we don't get enough of them. As far as I'm concerned, I've watched all 3 of the Da Vinci Code movies because I was like, well, fuck, I need my
this
fix
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think of.
Should we go through the plot?
Yeah, sure.
It's hard. It's hard. Like, this is one of those cases where I'm like, man, I right now I've just enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm thinking back when, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's got.
It was
I
real
mean,
fun.
yeah,
I'm trying to think of criticisms.
The ending is cheesy. The very end.
Well,
the little tag at the end.
Yeah, the twist is something that I saw immediately.
Yeah.
The moment he picks up the villain has this radio, this sat phone that he's talking to, and like they make a point to him to sort of say like, I talked to this other voice.
It's the only person I talked to. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna know who that person is. Who
Yeah.
could it be? And it was like, well, who have they introduced? Oh, there was that.
Oh, Kristen Scott Thomas.
Yeah.
Is one that's like, oh, it's weird that she would be in this movie for just like 5 minutes in the beginning, and then
Yeah.
of course it's because she's secretly the villain the whole time. But they just they do that to lead off into a potential sequel, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the very, very end, like
Oh, the very, very end
when she goes back to
which-
Nick Frost.
Oh yeah, Nick Frost is in
Frost,
this,
the delightful
everybody.
pawn shop owner.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's great.
I wish there was more of him. I wanted, because one of the things that Tomb Raider has, including the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders, is she always has like her assistants. Like she has in the Angelina Jolie one, she has like a butler and like a gadget guy. And I really wanted to see her like collecting those characters in this movie.
Yeah, I'm not that into that.
Yeah, no, it's cheesy. It's dumb. It's dumb and it's cheesy. And I would have enjoyed. And I saw Nick Frost. And I was like, oh, please be part of her team, Nick Frost. Please be her Simon Pegg, like for Mission Impossible.
Yeah. No,
But,
I was never much of a Tomb Raider fan until the reboot. Like I played the very first video game and didn't play any of the other ones. I didn't see either Angelina Jolie movie. I'm not,
which shocks me that you haven't seen those.
Yeah, I didn't.
You
start
see
liking.
everything.
Yeah, I didn't start liking Tomb Raider until the reboot video game came out. Because I'm not into Laura Croft as Lady Bond. Like I don't like.
Well, all right.
I'm not that into James Bond. Period.
The Tomb Raider movies, the Angelina Jolie ones, go back into my need, my thirst for treasure hunting movies, because they are treasure hunting movies.
Mm-hmm.
With John Voight, which is its own genre at this point.
John Voight films.
John Voight treasure hunting films.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's now 3, 4 if you count Anaconda, which I guess you can't count. Anaconda.
Sort of, because they're hunting. Jennifer
They're hunting
Lopez
for
and
the
Ice Cube
truth.
are hunting for a tribe of people, which I guess you can be reductive and call them treasure.
Yeah.
Because you should treasure other cultures and the discovery and sharing of them.
Okay. Let's call it 4.
We'll call it 4.
And in this film, that role, those shoes are filled by McNulty.
Yeah, Dominic West.
Yeah, that was a delightful surprise. They first went at the very beginning. She looks at a photograph of her and her father, which is so photoshopped. The one of him and the little girl.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh, it looked, I don't know, something about his smile or something. There was something horrifying about that picture.
He was doing like a goofy smile.
Yeah, it was.
But I just figured it was like, oh, because it's a dad taking a picture with his very young child.
That's true.
She's like 3 or 4.
Maybe it wasn't
photoshopped, or maybe
photoshopped.
6.
I don't know.
But yeah, just seeing that smiling face and being like, McNulty!
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
It's Father Croft.
yep, and he's basically like in my mind, it's like, oh shit, he's like Sean Connery in this. Because
He became it.
they even do the beat where he leaves to go find this mysterious island where this Empress Himiko of Japan, who was reputed to be this terrible sorceress, was entombed beneath a mountain to like prevent her magic from destroying the world. So he goes to like find this tomb and disappears for 7 years. He leaves all his notes behind. Laura's putting off declaring him dead.
Right, and this was the one thing that actually surprised me is from the other Tomb Raiders and from the games and stuff, I assumed he was dead. I assumed, McNulty doesn't get a big part in this movie. I legit because that was always the lore of
her
father.
parents are dead before the game even starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She has a in the reboot video game, she has a different character that sort of fills the father role for her, though. It's the captain of the ship that she sails on. But they do away with all those side characters, which I'm fine with. You gotta streamline things for a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she finds his notes and decides to go see what happened to him, and she finally finds him on the island where he's been living for 7 years. So it's crazy, just wild bearded McNulty. And I leaned over to Dave and said he looks like Michael McDonald.
Because he
Because
does.
he fucking does look like Michael McDonald.
It was specifically when he cuts his beard.
Right, when he shaves his beard down, and he still has this really long graying hair. And I was like, he fucking looks like Michael McDonald. It's like Kenny Rogers.
Oh, so good.
There was... But anyways, what the point I was getting to is she gets to the island and finds him, and he's like, "Oh, thank God you got here." And I'm so, I've been here. I can't get off the island, but I've been here thwarting their progress ever since, like planting false leads and making sure they're digging in the wrong place over and over again. So I'm the only way that Matthias, who is Walton Goggins, can open the tomb. So luckily, you've burned all my research, and she hasn't. She used it to find him and brought it with her, and then Matthias stole it, and it's the exact beat from Last Crusade where he's like,
I should have mailed it to the
Marx Brothers. You didn't bring it, did you? You didn't bring it, did you? You did. Why do you think I sent it to you in the first place? Yeah, so they have that exact beat.
Yeah.
Which great.
I was delighted by.
Yeah. And it's even when they finally get to the tomb, it's the same, like, Walton Goggins is like, you're going to go. Lara Croft, you're going to go in there and unlock this tomb, or your dad's going to die.
I was half expecting him to shoot
him and be like, Himiko's magic is the only thing that can save him now. No.
Last Crusade sort of solved this problem by having Sean Connery get shot. In this one, McNulty's just like, no, you can't fucking do this. Don't open this tomb. It's going to unleash evil. And then when Lara Croft's like, I don't believe in any of this stuff, I'll do it. McNulty just sort of sits on the sidelines for the rest of that adventure. I don't like this. But like, yeah, I guess there's not much he can do at that point. I liked that they did it so that Laura didn't believe his bullshit. Her father.
Yeah, that's why she does it. Yeah, and it turns out to not be true,
but also sort of true.
Sort of true.
I do want to see one of these adventure movies end where there's like no problem, and then they're all just like, "Geez, man."
Right where they're
sorry.
It's like,
let's get out of here.
Not only isn't it magic, but it also like there's no real world equivalent that gives anyone any power. So it would be great for like the Last Crusade for the Nazis to get there, and it's just like this cup that doesn't do anything. It's just a fucking ancient cup.
It just ends with the Nazis like, I guess bring it to a museum.
Yeah,
do you want it?
I guess we don't.
Who wants this cup?
Hitler isn't going to want this. He thought it was going to be magic. Oh, damn it!
Why hasn't there been an adventure movie
where that just happens?
Where it's just nothing.
I like that trope though. And then this is a way in which it differs from Indiana Jones. Is that the MacGuffin is always magic.
Right. Yeah, and this one it's not magic, but it's something else.
It's the twist from the first Uncharted game. They just borrowed the twist from the first Uncharted game. Yeah, where they open El Dorado and it's actually a disease. It's a sarcophagus that has a disease carrying corpse inside of it.
Which was that was good. It was a good
little twist.
It was a good little twist. because they built it up where I was expecting.
I didn't
some
know
magic.
what way it was going to go. Yeah.
I was expecting because Tomb Raider's kind of always had magic in it. The last one even had magic in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. This
Which is almost out of place when you play the game. Like when you get to the weird magic parts, it feels like. I mean, I enjoy it, but when you're deep into it, I always have this moment where like, how did it come to this? How am I fighting these monsters? Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But so I expected this to be part of the origin story of teaching Laura that there's some fucked up magic shit out there in the world, like because she's a skeptic at first. So I thought like, oh, okay, her arc's going to include that, but they didn't do it, which I liked.
Sure, they can just keep doing it like the Uncharted series, where they start out leading like all the in every Uncharted. I haven't played 4, but in the first 3, they really make it seem like. Particularly the closer you get to the end of each of those stories, they really make it seem like, oh shit, maybe this treasure really is magic. And every time it's always like a pseudoscientific thing, but it's like it's not magic. It's like this other thing, and then there's like an explanation within the natural order for it.
Which one's 4?
4 is the one where he teams up with his brother.
Okay, that's the last one.
Yeah. I haven't played that one.
That one's so fucking good. You got to play that.
Sure, man.
That one made me tear up. Uncharted making me tear up like an asshole.
Like a fucking douche.
Yeah. And that also has some really good... It's about pirate treasure.
Oh,
and
sweet.
so there's a lot of pirate stuff.
I'm all about some pirate treasure.
Yeah. There's like pirate cities and... God, I want to play that game right fucking now.
Throw down this mic. It's just going to be me talking on Dave's mic. You can hear him playing Uncharted 4.
Like, so fucking good.
I'm going to find some goddamn treasure. I'm going on a treasure hunt right fucking now.
Yeah. I think, all right, I do like the team. Okay, we didn't actually mention what the cheesy ending was, which was Laura at that Nick Frost.
She goes back
pawn
to
shop.
Nick Frost pawn shop to buy back this necklace, basically this little medallion, I guess, that her dad gave to her that she had to pawn to hire the boat to go find him in the first place. And then she comes back at the end of the movie to buy the thing back, and then they extend the scene a little bit longer to have her buy her handguns.
The last line is like, I'll take
take two, and like this like smirk, and it's like, all right, like we didn't
need it.
We didn't need it.
No, we did need it.
You did? We did?
I did. I'm a little more. It sounds like I've played more of the games than you. And the new Tomb Raider has that moment. Well, all right, the new Tomb Raider sort of has that moment. It's not that cheesy, but there's a point in that game where like I didn't even notice it happened, but all of a sudden I have 2 hip-mounted guns.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit. It's like the fucking game. And I expected her to like pull him off of a henchman or something.
Well,
at some point,
it was. I'll tell you why it was weird. It's because she never uses a gun in the movie.
Right, yeah. And
so it's
why
like,
would she
why would her
suddenly need
eye
them?
be drawn to a gun all of a sudden?
That's why, like, I loved her using the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
That's why I guess
motherfuckers up with that bow and arrow.
I needed her to get those guns at some point, but
Yeah.
I wish it was more like out of desperation. Like she. Just
I feel like
picks 'em
that
up.
got added, and because they're like, well, we need to try to bring in fans of both the old and the new. So it's
Yeah.
like, let's put in the nod with the 2 guns, even though like her character is completely not that in the film. She
No.
never touches a fucking gun.
That's the other thing. They do the stealth mission in this movie as well. That's another thing I checked off from the video game stuff. She's at the camp.
Oh yeah.
She's going to get the phone, and it's like straight up like the video game where you're sneaking around a camp.
Mm-hmm.
I was
In
really,
a positive way.
Yeah, I was really surprised how much of video game stuff they managed to get into this movie.
Well, the basic idea of the different sequences in the game are things that could be translated. You never
Right.
want to follow
They're
things
all very
directly,
cinematic.
but like the idea of her crawling around in an antique bomber.
Right, you're right and this is kind of the Uncharted as well, is like,
Yeah.
and this is why when I heard they were making The Last of Us into a movie, I was like, oh, I hope they just do The Last of Us. Like, I hope they just don't change anything because it's already designed to be like a movie.
Yeah.
And the new Tomb Raider is like that as well, where
Yeah, they change a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, but there's
But-
still cinematic moments
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
game that they can. The things that like, I guess like specifically her climbing over that boat part. That's not something I expected to see. Is the like the climbing stuff from the game where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a
The
grating
hand
that
over
looks
hand
like
thing. Yeah, sure.
monkey bars, and she's gonna go across it. Like that was such a video game thing
Yeah.
that was suddenly in this movie, and it worked fine.
Man, I don't want to harp on it and sound like a fucking lunatic, but like another thing that I liked, or well, I mean, I mentioned it already. Actually, it's the fact that like the stuff that happened, like the action, like the violence in the movie, has impact and consequence to it.
Matters. Oh God.
When she drowns the guy in the fucking puddle,
Yeah, the first life she takes.
right.
She fucking that she gets attacked by a guy in the jungle and like wrestles him, and there's nothing glamorous about the situation.
No, it's
And she just ends up fucking drowning him in a puddle, like the beginning of Casino Royale, one of those deaths where it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, this isn't good. This
Yeah.
isn't fun.
yeah, it's not designed. It's designed to not make you feel triumphant that
No.
she. It's like real. They even have the like. I thought they were going to be. Oh, he's going to like because they focus on this one henchman, and like he kind of
Yeah.
gives her like a greasy smile when he sees her the first time. So it's like, oh, they're going to do the thing. So like
He's gonna be the mini boss or something.
they're going to like Walton Goggins sends him to go track her down after she escapes from the camp. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, she's going to smoke this guy, but they're going to lessen the blow by making him be like a creepy rapist or
Oh
something.
right, he's gonna get real rapey.
He's going to
or
get rapey.
something.
He doesn't.
No.
They explicitly make him be like, I'm going to take you back to camp.
Yeah.
And then when she's fighting with him, he's like, stop struggling. I'm going to take you. Like,
Yeah,
they-
I mean, he's choking her out while he's saying
he's choking
that.
her, but it's
But
like
he
they
is
make
saying-
it clear. They make it clear that he is not trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Like
On the other hand, she is trying to kill him and succeeds.
it was sort of. She gets into a position where she's trying to choke him out.
Yeah, it's
And then
like,
they roll over and he's face down in a puddle and she's just like holding that chokehold. And he's like sputtering and gurgling in this muddy water. It's like really fucking
and then,
brutal.
Yeah, and then she like has a moment
then she
afterwards.
cries.
Yeah, where she's just
Like-
like, Jesus fucking
Yeah. It was
I was-
really effective.
I was half expecting him to like defecate himself.
yeah, just like shit. Like every indignity of death.
Oh God. Yeah, that
Um,
was great.
It was well done. And
Yeah.
it's another thing that reminded me of Indiana Jones. Like when they get into the temple and the bad guys start getting beefed by those traps. It's like
It's brutal.
it's some beefage.
And this game- this
like
movie-
Indiana Jones style.
yeah, and this movie was brutal.
Yeah.
There were just a lot of like moments that made me go, "Oh
Yeah.
God."
yeah.
I mean, the disease is brutal. when
Yeah, the
they-
disease is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It is exactly the disease from Uncharted.
Yeah.
It like partially decomposes them and then turns them into these wild zombies.
Right. Yeah. And like every arrow hit, like was
Yeah.
like
Brutal.
brutal.
I was like, goddamn.
Yeah. And again, I'm glad it was just really nice seeing like that airplane sequence we've alluded to of her. She goes. It's if you've played the video game, it's very similar to.
It's like combined
beats
here in
that.
sequence, but
Yeah, she falls into a river, and then the river sends her to a waterfall, and there's a crashed plane at the end of the waterfall, and she grabs onto
yeah,
it.
it's
before
like
she falls.
it's like an antique bomber from like World War II.
Yeah. And then she climbs all over it and keeps falling and no doubt gets tetanus. And then she falls out.
Then
the
she gets
front.
inside the plane.
She gets inside the plane and then the plane falls and she hits the front, finds a parachute and falls out and lands. And when she lands, she's just like, oh, fuck. Like she's...
yeah, well, she's got a thing
again,
sticking
she's got
out.
something
Yeah.
sticking.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see a hero go through that sort of ordeal
yeah.
and really pay the price.
Right. Like it's not just like, whoa, I did that. And when you mentioned Spielberg earlier and the escalation of things, that is when she's inside the plane and the plane starts to fall in half, that's an exact Spielberg reference. It's from The Lost World when Julianne Moore falls on the glass
Oh, I love that
of the
sequence.
RV. And she's just like, and they do it in this movie. She's face down on the canopy, and the canopy is starting to give way beneath her. And it's like, oh shit, I can't move, or else the shit is gonna break.
This is a derailment, but it's always weird to me that Vince Vaughn's in that movie.
In The Lost World,
Yeah.
I always
I
forget he's in it.
every
and then
time-
I
yeah,
turn
and
the
then
movie
he
on, I'm like, fucking Vince Vaughn is in this. That's
Yeah.
right.
In a Spielberg film. Has he been in any other Spielberg film?
No.
That's a shame.
The
Is
reason he's in The Lost World is because they had to ask permission to use the Jaws theme in Swingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so Spielberg had to see their movie to like approve it, and he
That-
really liked Vince Vaughn in it. So he's like, "Why don't you you're gonna be in the Lost World?"
That's great.
Yeah,
What a great thing to happen.
yeah,
Oh, man. Yeah, swingers.
some fucking swingers.
This movie. So we're kind of all over the place talking about this movie.
I just really liked it.
I really liked it. It's there's going to be people listening to this being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I get it. Sure. There's a couple of
but
there's
at
a
the
couple of
same time,
cheesy lines,
I
but
don't
like
wanna- yeah.
not enough that made me be like, "Fuck this movie."
No, yeah. I wasn't angry at this movie. It was again, it felt like something I don't get to see often.
Yeah.
Like it felt like I don't know if it felt like there were stunts. Obviously her
lot,
climbing
yeah.
on the plane wasn't a stunt. There's a lot of
They would-
CGI set pieces.
What they would do, I noticed what they would do is they have her running through catastrophe a lot in the film, which did get a little kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
But like every time it cut to the actual impact of her having to jump, it was a stunt.
That's
Like when
cool.
she's coming up the wing of the airplane and has to jump to catch the fuselage.
Okay.
It starts with like a long shot where it's her running across the wing, and that's obviously CGI. But when she has to do the jump, it cuts to the actual physical fuselage and her impacting on the.
Right, you're
So
right.
they like knew which. I don't know who the director is, but they knew which parts to actually show. So one of the big problems with doing CGI action sequences is it takes away the impact of things because things have no weight.
Right, and they did avoid that in
Yeah.
this movie.
So they like knew when to use the CGI and when to okay, this part needs to be practical or else it's just not gonna. And Tom Cruise does that in the Mission Impossible movies,
Yeah, he does
where it's like
a lot.
he knows what part to like be like. This is the part that needs to be quote unquote real
Well, yeah.
in order for to make it exciting.
Generally speaking, I think if you just do CGI the way they used to do matte paintings, it tends to be okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it when it's done like that. Sure.
This guy, I think it's a guy, director. It's the director of The Wave, which I haven't seen, and I really want to. I don't know how to pronounce this last name.
It's a Norwegian film, right? Or
Yeah, and this
Swedish?
seems like a very Norwegian person. Their first name is Roar.
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 Fuck. War Uthaug.
Uthaug.
Is it a Viking? Is this
Yeah.
a Viking person?
God damn, it better be.
Better be a guy. Oh, he's a goddamn Viking.
Oh, wow. Yeah, pretty much.
He's Norwegian.
Yeah, I need to see The Wave now. It's been free and available for a while, and when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, that looks delightful.
I remember you showing me the trailer because it's
Yeah.
like, was it the highest budgeted Norwegian film or the
Yeah.
highest grossing?
I maybe both. I don't know. One or the other. I just remember looking at it and being like, "Good for Norway."
Yeah, good for Norway. We
Way to
can't
ma-
make
way to
all
make
of
a
these.
Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But it seems like it's how Norway would do it because it's like it seems to be about the characters and about one small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's smaller scale. I don't know how he went from this movie to Tomb Raider.
Well, even Tomb Raider, with its there's a lot of set pieces, and the island is a cool location, but even then, it's still surprisingly kind of small scale.
Yeah.
Because there's only like 5 characters.
Well, again, the characters are like they're humans.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly to
Yeah, and
say
it's-
this, but we've been flooded with so many superhero films, many of which are very good. But it's nice to see movies where the characters have limitations, where you feel like they're in danger more.
yeah.
Which again it is a thing that pops up in superhero films, but I'm trying to think of an action movie that wasn't a superhero film the last time I was really excited about one, and I would say like maybe John Wick, but he is basically a superhero.
He's a superhero, but it's still like exciting to watch the movies.
Yeah, just exciting in a different way. It's exciting like it's exciting to watch the circus. No, it's not actually, because people could get hurt in the circus, and that's why we watched the circus.
Yeah, that's the only reason we watch the circus.
It's exciting like ballet. No, ballet isn't exciting either. I'm doing really bad with these.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'm saying John Wick's exciting in a way that like a kung fu film is exciting, where you don't. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like it takes place in a real world, and it's fun to watch this choreography.
Yeah, all the stunt work and choreography.
Yeah. and like that's great, but it's just been a while since I've seen like the Die Hard Indiana Jones type of action, at least as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Where the person doing all the fighting is not necessarily very skilled in it. Like they establish her as being like a good fighter and like but like she's clearly in over her head, which I liked about it.
They
it's
establish
nice to see an underdog.
Yeah, they establish her as being sort of a good fighter. Like,
oh yeah, the first fight they show is her losing a fight.
They show her losing a fight at an MMA gym.
Yeah. And then
not losing it
hit by a car.
And then getting hit by a car. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the first sequences, and I do like this. There were some moments in this film where every now, like when they were doing her on the bike and stuff, and I was like, man, better get to adventuring soon, guys. Like looking at my watch, and then when they got into adventuring, I was just like, come on, guys, we got to get Tomb rating soon. Like they always like right before it would happen, I'd be looking at my watch like, got to get to that tomb, guys. It's called Tomb Raider.
I would say that it takes a little too long to get to the island.
Yes,
but
and no.
I'm not sure if it does because I enjoyed all the stuff because it's all character stuff.
Yeah,
and then we got cool set pieces in there, and then like right when it's starting to lag a little bit, you meet the drunken captain, and that's a fun character.
And that's
like,
the thing. At just when I would be looking at my watch, they'd go to that thing.
Yeah.
They made it last just long enough to do character stuff, and like the first action sequence is her getting chased on a bike in like a fun
way. Yeah,
in a fun way.
They're doing a fox hunt.
Yeah, and they managed to make that really exciting and fun to watch, and like have cool bike stunts and shit.
Yeah, it was like like I remember when it started, I was like, they're starting off this with a bike race.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, like they actually like, and I mean, there's no CGI bikes or anything. They just threw fucking assholes on bikes and had them tear ass through streets of London.
Which, by the way, I think I might have recognized because I've been to London once. I stayed at a hostel, and I got to look this up. I think I saw that hostel in that sequence.
Oh, sweet,
which was neat.
Yeah. Something I weirdly appreciated is when, spoilers, she has to leave McNulty behind in the tomb to die. And
McNulty dies
and blow it up. They have their tearful goodbye, and she says, it's like, no, I don't want to leave you. I need you. I was super expecting him to say, I'll always be with you, because they sort of set that up earlier with the little charm that she has to sell to Nick Frost. But he doesn't say that at all. He looks at her and he says, no, you don't.
Yeah.
It's like, you're worth 10 of me. And for some reason, I weirdly really appreciated that line. I guess because it was not what I was expecting at all. But was still managed to accomplish the same thing where it was like, no, it was still emotional, but it was like in like a better way. Cause it was like empowering her to go fight Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, I really appreciated that line.
There's some good, it was, see, I feel like I've been blinded by the adventure, but was this well written?
Sometimes.
Okay.
There's a couple of lines that are like,
yeah.
But not many.
I feel like I gotta watch this again and sit down because right now I'm just so charmed by the movie.
Right. Yeah, I'm just so delighted by the film. There was really only 2 lines that stuck out like in my mind as being like, ew, but I can't even remember what they are now.
See, I went into this prepared to be disappointed.
Anytime she mentions her family, like, I'm not that kind of Croft, I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
also, Croft is a dumb name.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It doesn't sound good when you say it, Croft.
It sounds like you're saying craft with an accent.
Yeah, you're right. But whatever. She had a little Batman in her, too. A little Bruce Wayne. A
little bit of Batman, yeah.
There was a lot of boardroom stuff.
A little boardroom shit. Yeah.
Not too much boardroom stuff, just enough.
Just enough with
stuff.
Derek Jacobi totally fucking up his job as a lawyer and bringing out that puzzle box before she signs the.
She eventually signs it.
Yeah, she does, but like, the whole adventure is triggered by an elderly attorney taking out a puzzle box from his briefcase 5 seconds too early.
Right, and she opens the puzzle box and finds a key.
Yep.
Which luckily does not lead to like an S&M dungeon or something.
Right?
that
Yeah,
her
all of her
father
father's
had.
pornography.
Because
What,
it's
what
the
if it
same
was?
thing- yeah, where he's like, I need you to
I
burn
need you to
this
burn all
stuff.
this stuff.
Porn.
It's just mountains and mountains of porn, like really illegal porn.
Oh yeah, just all the worst kinds.
Yeah, it's like, I need you to burn this.
McNulty, you fucking maniac.
Oh,
This was a
fucking
problem
McNulty.
that I had with this movie and every movie with McNulty in it. You might notice that I'm not calling him by his actual name, but I'm calling him McNulty because I can't stop seeing McNulty in every role. Every role he stands out like a sore thumb. Like it's like if I knew him personally. Like you ever like it's like every time I see him he takes me out of
Yeah,
the movie because he's McNulty.
right. I don't get that with
He doesn't
McNulty.
even act like McNulty.
No, I don't. I don't get that with Dominic West, but I understand what you're saying. It's like a Tom Cruise or a Will Smith, somebody who's just
Maybe
too famous,
No,
where it's like you
because
can't.
them I know them in different roles, and I
That's
can
true.
sort of.
Yeah.
That's why I mean it's like someone you know, because it's like it immediately takes me out. It's hard to. It's just.
I had
Trying to
that.
think of another comparison. Maybe Patrick Stewart.
I had that
Because
feeling.
he's always Picard.
That's true. I had that feeling. Not the exact feeling, but I had that feeling with Oprah in A Wrinkle in Time. Because
Right,
she's
yeah.
just Oprah.
Because it's Oprah.
Yeah, you're Oprah.
Yeah. I take back Patrick Stewart because in Green Room, he definitely made me forget about Picard.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of
I
Picard
was
one time.
thinking of Star Trek once during that movie.
Mm.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, I don't know
What
what
else?
else to say about this film.
God. I
Oh,
feel
okay,
like
okay. I remember the other cheesy line is
All right.
when she says you messed with the wrong family.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't need that line.
That's pretty bad.
That's a bad line. Anytime she refers to her family,
Yeah.
it's weird. Just don't do that.
Yeah, didn't need it.
We know who the character is. You branded this character successfully for several decades.
Yeah. Not that it mattered. I was a little bothered. I'm trying to think of things I was bothered by. This is more of like not a movie problem. I was bothered that she wasn't tapping into all that family money at the beginning. Like she has to sell that necklace to get money to go on her trip, and I was like, "Come on!"
I understood though, because she had to declare her dad dead.
Exactly,
and
and
she
that
didn't
was
want to.
a cool way of doing it.
Yeah.
And then it's weird that at the end she's happily like, "Yeah, he's dead."
Like a magic trick.
Yep,
That was a little weird.
that was a little weird.
The denouement of the movie is weird.
Yeah, I think the moment they
That's
leave on the helicopter, I knew there was going to be more because I knew like, oh, we're going to figure out who's on that phone, and she's got to get those guns. I knew there'd have to be at least a post-credit sequence,
Right.
with that. But yeah, they could have ended it there.
right when they get on the helicopter. Yeah, all the stuff after that is kind of cheesy, but like,
All the stuff after that.
well, it is. I will say it is cheesy, but it doesn't like bring the movie down. For
No,
me.
that stuff is like franchise upkeep.
Sure.
Where like the story actually ends when they get on the helicopter.
Yeah.
But if it was not a Tomb Raider movie, it would have ended there. But they were like, well, it's a Tomb Raider movie, so we have to. The only thing is I guess they have to close the arc of her signing the thing.
Yeah, if
But
they didn't wrap it up, if they didn't have to like try to make it tease into a franchise,
Right.
it would have ended with like her signing the papers and that business being done, and then going back and to Nick Frost and buying the thing. Like that would be like I
Yeah,
could see
yeah,
that
yeah.
being like a cute thing to end the film with. If she's buying the thing back, and then that's that.
Yeah, and that would have been enough. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how the original Tomb Raider movie basically it doesn't end that way. Well, she has the double guns at the beginning of that, but it just ends with like it doesn't end well, but it ends with like a freeze frame shot of her holding two guns and like techno blares, and it's just like, and the adventure continues, Tomb Raider, and then like you don't need to set up a sequel.
That's Hollywood think right now.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
Fucking Kong
Like, I
Skull
don't know
Island set
why-
up a sequel.
Especially in these days where they're always sequeling things. Why do they think they need to tell us that they're going to do a
I don't
sequel?
know. I don't know. It's projections.
Yeah, and it ends up being kind of embarrassing when it's like Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
where it's like, here we go again, and then never
Nope.
seen again. Yep. And so I do want more. I want more Tomb
more
Raiders,
tombs.
but I don't want what they set up. I want just more adventures.
I don't want like her fighting a shadowy organization. Like I don't like her as Lady Bond. I like her as Lady Indiana Jones.
And Bond pulled that shit too, where Bond, the newest Bonds, because didn't it used to be like Bond movies were standalone? You always knew there'd be more.
Pretty much, yeah. There's some light
Spectre and all
continuity
that
between
stuff.
some of them.
Yeah. Like, why do they think they have to connect them all?
I don't know. So yeah, the very, very end of the film is cheesy, and I could have done without. But the rest of the movie, I so enjoyed that I don't care.
Yeah, I feel like this.
I just want more tomb raiding adventures.
Yeah,
I want
me
more
too.
treasure hunts
More treasures.
with more cool escalating adventure set pieces.
I want them to make the Uncharted movie,
but make it like this.
and then I want them to make a Tomb Raider Uncharted crossover.
Yeah,
Because fuck it.
yeah. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and where
Just
they have
do
to
it.
get double the treasure.
Yeah.
No, they fight for the treasure. It's Tomb Raider versus Uncharted.
That would be
like
kind of
Freddy
cool.
versus Jason.
Yeah, if they had to fight for the treasure.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'd be
More
down with
treasure.
that. Yeah,
More
just
treasure
more
hunt
treasure
films.
hunting movies. Why is that hard?
I think it's maybe because they're all the same.
Yeah.
Do they feel like that story's been told already? It's just there's
It's
3
still
Indiana
fun.
Jones films. They all generally have the same
Right.
plot in
Right.
terms of treasure, and I love everyone
Yeah,
because
they're fantastic.
you can vary the adventure.
They're 3 of the best films ever made.
Yeah, I think it's because
Like-
you can change the adventure
Yeah,
around them so
change
much
it up.
and change.
Just be imaginative about it.
Yeah, even fucking National Treasure. Have you watched? How many National Treasures have you watched?
The first one.
You haven't watched the second?
No.
Like the second even is like, I mean, they're not good movies, but they do stuff like they focus on the dynamics between the characters. They have complex, like the villain in National Treasure 2, I want to say is actually kind of complex. And he doesn't do the things you necessarily think he's going to do. There's a relationship between John Voight and his ex-wife that's like a whole arc in it. It's, again, not good. But they
it's
gave
an
it a
attempt.
shot. Yeah,
You give a lot of credit for attempts.
I do. Well, yes, I do, because it's so easy not to try these days.
That's true.
And so, like, I'd rather see, like, if someone does a practical stunt and it's bad, I like that better than if they just did a CGI stunt.
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
no, I see what you're saying. I said this on
And it's the same with
some podcasts we did, but yeah, I would rather see something decide to be one thing and attempt to be that thing and fail than try to be several things and fail.
Yeah. Or just to see them try to give the characters stuff to do. Like in this one, the boat captain, that was, I really like this detail, is that she shows up to this boat captain where she found an old email between her father and this captain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her lead to figure out where her father is. And she finds the captain's son. And it turns out that the son's, his father also disappeared. So they give this guy a motivation to go along with her on the adventure. And I like that they gave him that, like, and that he finds out that his dad was killed.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't much, but it was enough. Like, I liked.
Yeah, that, and also that he had just lost a bunch of money.
Yeah,
gambling.
Yeah.
So she gives him money.
Yeah, and they do just enough to like flesh out this character that you understand why he's going along on this adventure. And so in terms of like, maybe dialogue's not so great, but in terms of like the broad strokes of storytelling and an adventure film and stuff, I thought this was really well put together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a small thing, but the way that the tomb door opens, neat.
Yeah.
When they finally when she finally
yeah,
does all
and
the locks,
I
and
like-
then it just collapses inward. I was like, I did not expect that the door was going to open that way.
Oh yeah.
That
I
was
also like
pretty neat.
the other door that opened while she's on it, and she like
Oh
has
yeah,
to
she
like
has to do
ride at the
color.
door.
Yeah. She has to like ride the
And
door.
that was a good booby trap.
Yeah.
They're in a room where
It's a color puzzle.
yeah, they did a puzzle. I like when she said it's a color puzzle as if she's in a video game and recognizes it.
Yep.
But they're in like a little hallway, and like pieces of the floor start falling one at a time.
Yeah.
And they have to open this door before they all
I
fall.
I like when this is a dumb thing too, but I like when the good guys and the villains have to work together to overcome some hurdle.
Oh yeah. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, you get that in the original Tomb Raider films. as well with Daniel Craig's sort of like he's in between.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some good moments of that. I really like that because it gives you these moments of like, oh, they would work good together if
Yeah.
they didn't hate each
Like,
other.
oh yeah, we're all just people.
Yeah.
Like
A National Treasure has a bunch of that. The first one not so much because Scene Bean is sort of a dickhead and keeps making him do everything. But then Ed Harris's character, part of his character in the second one is he wants his family name to be known, so he like wants the glory, so he wants to do the stuff. So they have some good moments there where like Ed Harris jumps out off of this like weird booby trap, and they think that he left them all behind, and then he looks back and like it's like a cliff, and he helps them all up. Like moments like that where like you think the villain's gonna abandon them, and he's like, no, fucking. I like it when villains don't necessarily want to kill. If like where murder is still a fucked up thing, even if you're a villain. Yeah. That's not really in this one, but
a little bit,
I guess. But yeah, the working together part is good. Man, I just love a good adventure film. Even if it's fucking Tom Hanks trying to find some stupid...
Trying to figure out who gave him that haircut.
Yeah.